Hello, y'all.
You gonna share this mic?
Yeah. This is Parallel, so thank y'all for having us. It's nice that this has been really cool to work on and kind of share with y'all. I'm just gonna share a little bit about like who we are and what we do. So, Parallel Press is something that we started for the passion of just making books and loving books. In that process, we had to come up with a way to make money, so we also came up with Parallel Work, which helps fund the process of making these books through various means, but it's kind of like a cyclical thing that kind of keep working together.
I started, whoo, that's loud. I started working at Google a few years before 2020. And by the time the racial justice movement reached its peak, I was working alongside a really incredible team that genuinely was committed to creating work that lasted beyond just moments. One of the most significant projects for me during that period was a film collaboration with the Compton Cowboys. Initially, oh, thank you, Renald. Initially, it began as a film project, but it quickly evolved into documentation of the Peace March through Los Angeles that year, protesting police brutality and injustice. Um, that experience for me really made clear that the most meaningful and important work I could do and would do would always be archival in the form of book. These are a few photos that we took originally from the film, like some BTS, but it truly like locked in for me that the best work I could do of my life, frankly, would be bookmaking. And so this project is really the antithesis of publishing for me and was the road for how I met Renaud.
How we met was well, before we met, I worked on this book with my old professor Kelly Walters, called The Black Experience in Design. Hopefully you've seen it before. I was approached to design this book kind of as a way to just catalog and understand the process and the meaning behind how Black designers are seen, but also how we work and how we create. The design was inspired by this concept of not being boxed in quite literally into a category or type of work. And we spent about 6 months just trying to make a design system that felt like it was taking you through a journey and also kind of like understanding like how we can reframe our thinking and also how we can reframe how we're seen. Some of that literally was kind of this. I like this photo because this process was really interesting. We kind of went with a really rigid and utilitarian design system because we wanted to make sure that we didn't get boxed in into a specific type of graphic design. When you think of Black design, sometimes you think of a certain thing, and we wanted to make sure that that wasn't present here. But in this situation, it also talks about the process of actually designing. In this specific example, the author gave us a really last minute title change, and I had no space to put the work. And so I kind of used my like frustration to inspire the designer. And then me and Akoua met. So back a few years ago, we met at Cash App where we both worked full time. I was actually on her interview panel, and then in that call we had went over by like 45 minutes talking about our love of book design. We kind of joked about like, oh, should we just start studio? It took maybe about like a year for that to actually start to happen, but eventually we started to work together on projects. A lot of times we would get hit up for the exact same project. So we started to kind of plan and uh, email them together and be like, hey, we're a studio now, and let's see if we can get more money out of it. And so through that process, we were kind of thinking about what do we want our studio to be about and who do we want to kind of center. We both kind of had this conversation, this like deep, like long conversation about what our moms were like when we were younger and kind of how could we like honor that as a way to kind of just like talk about what their sacrifice meant to us, but also like how we can kind of pass that baton. And we landed on Wilma Rudolph, who is, I think, the first Olympian to get 3 gold medals in a year in 1960. And I think a quote from her that I'll read that kind of sums up a little bit of how we wanted to start working on books because we wanted to make sure that we wanted to make the types of books that really wowed people, but also we didn't want to wait for a Rizzoli or a Phaidon to like hit us up to do that. We figured we could just start on our own. And the quote goes, "My doctor told me I would never walk again. My mother told me I would. I believe my mother." She had suffered polio right before this Olympics in for years, but she kind of like persevered and made sure that she kind of stayed on track, pun intended. Um, from there, we created our logo. This is actually uh, a typeface that I created when we were both trying to do our type of Cooper at the same time as our full-time jobs.
Yeah.
We we both dropped out. um, but from this, we came up with this really cool logo system. So for Parallel Press and for Parallel Work, respectively. So I'll just kind of take you a little bit through like the work that we did in the past couple of years. So we started in 2023, and have made like 6 or so books since then. And so we'll kind of talk you through some of how that came together. The first book we made was a zine, inspired and really directed by my partner Jordan Moss, who uh, helped us understand like that we can just start right now. Essentially, we were getting ready for a book launch and our first book launch, and she gave us the idea of like, let's just make something for Printed Matter so that people can actually afford it. And we were inspired by this Frank Ocean song. She did the illustrations and the text. I helped with the design and the production, and we kind of spent a few nights in our apartment just kind of putting the scene together with the translucent paper, a poem about poetry, and it's essentially a zine about love and whatever, you know. Um, the next book we did, we worked with Secret Rezo Club in Brooklyn, where we got to bring to life our friend Justin Jenkins' illustrations. Justin had reached out to me maybe a few months after we had finished the zine, or with the book that we had done in 2023. And he had just come back from a trip with his wife in Japan, and he was trying to understand what it meant to be American. And he had come to my apartment with 24 finished illustrations of just a study in a really different illustration style that he hadn't really tried before. I told him, I think I know somebody who can help us make this. We linked up with Secret Rezo, and we found a way to kind of bring this to life through a 4-colored Rezo print that they help us print and bind. We also took over their gallery space for a little bit to do like a 2 weeks show, showcasing all that work, where I personally framed them and hung them with Justin. It was a really fun process. As it turns out with our process, we like to do things that are just like really hard. So we started with our first book of doing a book of a run of 1,000 with our good friends at Lichen. Lichen NYC, if you're not familiar with them, they're a design incubator and studio out in Ridgewood, focusing on interiors and furniture. And they approached us to help us catalog the first 5 years of their studio. We had been friends with them for quite some time around the kind of opening of their shop, and so we wanted to catalog their work in a way that felt really meaningful and utilitarian as well, showcasing the work that was led by Black and brown people, and kind of telling a story in a very romantic setting of what it means and how it is what it means to start a studio, and what it means to kind of like really codify work. And so we used their address numbers to kind of be as a motif of like how they worked, because they moved from like 5 locations in 5 years, and we kind of wanted to talk about that process of what it was to kind of keep moving, essentially. Our second book was a book we did with Julian Adon Alexander, who was an illustrator who I think just talked at Miss Tuesdays like 2 times ago, where we essentially tackled the concept of a monograph for an artist who hasn't necessarily been established yet. He's a young artist who does graphite illustrations. He works almost strictly in 8.5 by 11, and we were able to kind of build this 600-page monograph of his work over the course of 4 years, just kind of cataloging and understanding the importance of his practice of just drawing every single day. And it's a beautiful like sentiment just around persistence, but also just being dedicated to a craft and being really mindful of that. So we wanted to bring this to life. He goes by the Instagram handle Snakebone. And so part of the design, we wanted to create a literal snake. So we did this 12-page gatefold that was really hard to get together. This book quite literally almost killed me, but um, yeah. I also lost my job in the process of making this up arena. But I think it was worth it. And we got to do a talk at Princeton Matter. We were also fortunate to get contributions from the artist Cause, who is a mentor of Julian and Alvin Armstrong, pictured here, where we did a talk at Princeton Matter to kind of talk about the process. In the like foreground of, or on the table of, in front of Alvin, you can see the book and this like really big like white brick. It's really thick, but yeah. So that's a little bit about like how we kind of came to this moment here where we are introducing our new book.
So Renald and I are always pondering this idea, which is good books should answer questions. That thinking is a big shared belief of ours. We knew we wanted to make a book about space, but what questions would we be answering? What questions would we ask? For us, the answer seemed simple, which is usually famous last words for me and Renald, but not in this case. So we decided we would start from the beginning. How did Black astronauts come to be? We found the answers at the Black Press Archive within Howard University. The answer, shockingly, were laws and orders. First, beginning with Executive Order 9902 in 1941, prohibiting racial discrimination by any government agency or defense contractor. This opened the roles for wartime aviation for African Americans, producing the highly decorated Tuskegee Airmen, and placed hidden figures in Black mathematicians like Dorothy Vaughan at NASA.
And we found this story really interesting because we understood that a thing that we kept kind of coming up with was that DEI ended up being very, very important to the process of how we built this country, but also quite literally how we got to the moon. In this case, Katherine Johnson, not pictured here, but Katherine Johnson is actually the person who calculated the window for the space launch to bring the first American to space. That was the same year that JFK put affirmative action into place. In 2024, this month actually, the Orange Man took that away. Or he at least repealed the executive order, the Equal Employment Opportunity Act. And I think that in the process of designing this book, we realized that it was really important to codify and understand who these people were and how we got to this place. Quite literally, we wouldn't be in this position with our NASA program and our space program without the efforts of these Black men and women who helped us get into space quite literally. But it ends up being a really important thing for us to understand, because even in the process of making this book and doing the 2.5 years of research, we found that the NASA library of images and video were actually shut down in the time that we were trying to design because the government was shut down. So we had to kind of like work around those different moments, but we wanted to kind of show like the feat that was like really important. So I just want to take you a little bit through like the actual design of the book that kind of led us to this moment. Actually, slightly just before we get into the design, we were set to print in April, and then we ended up going to the moon in April as well. So we actually had to bring together, we had to put a stop to the printing so we can update the information. So the book was hand bound and printed by our friend Matthew Austin in LA. And here's just like a little sneak preview of what the book looks like. It's 372 pages or so. And essentially in this book, we are collecting all the information, the flight data and biographies that we wrote with our friends and contributors to kind of catalog this work, and beautiful photography that we got from the NASA library, all public domain. And we created bios and gave some detailed information about their missions, the time they spent in space, the hours, and just giving them a place to just shine in the first place. And the first time we're actually cataloging this group of people. But I'll let Akoua read the last part of the forward to kind of end us off.
We thought we'd leave y'all with a little thing from the book. Shout out Sid for the edit. We offer this work to the Black mathematicians who moved decimals at Langley, the Black astronauts who have spent the last 42 years collectively training 7,193 hours in space, Ron McNair and Michael P. Anderson, who lost their lives to carry humanity into a new frontier. The collective courage reminds us all that ascent begins with the same small, defiant act, looking up.
Thank you. So
Thank y'all.
our book will be available on July 4th. We are making an edition of 50, and that's all we could get. So
It was a good lesson.
it was a good lesson. Yeah,
For a liking book.
yeah. So thank you again.
Thank y'all.